Hello everyone, this is Hadrian. Thank you for watching. It's time to play some more Master of Orion. I'm excited to jump back in and cover some early access 4 content, which we'll talk about in a minute. This is just an introduction though, as usual, so you can skip to episode 1 if you prefer right now. But I'm definitely going to be covering some information on the early access 4 patch and going over the setup for this new series in the next few minutes. So if you're itching for some gameplay, there's the button. You know what to do. It is so good to be playing Master of Orion again. Early Access 4 came out a couple of weeks ago, I think, and I told you guys that as soon as I got a chance to do some extra content on the channel for Master of Orion, I would do it. I was not able to do it as quickly as I would have liked, but here we are. Master of Orion is currently an early access title, if you haven't seen one of my series in it before, and it's an attempted rebirth of the classic 90s series by the same name. I've gotten some practice with Master of Orion in past series, so you're going to see me playing at a more advanced pace this time. I'll explain the game's mechanics a bit more minimally, and focus on explaining my own decision making, so you're going to see me moving a little bit more quickly, and like I said, explaining less. As this is still an early access title, there are elements that may still be new to me though, or elements that may be introduced in a patch while the series is ongoing, so don't expect me to know everything. We're all still learning about this game as we play it. And this is one of my first times really doing an in-depth playthrough of Early Access 4, which I'm doing on purpose, by the way, because I wanted it to be kind of a authentic experience where I'm experiencing the content new for the first time. So just be aware of that. We're going to be playing as the Terran Khanate, and we'll be calling the series the Terrible Terrans, because I'm going to go out of my way to be a dick to everyone. That's just how it is with the cons. But before I talk any more about the specific series setup and let you learn more about the cons, as I mentioned, a lot has changed since my last playthrough of Master of Orion. So I want to talk specifically about some of the things that the Early Access 4 patch introduced. Mainly, the strategic AI got a bit of an overhaul. I want to read a little bit from the patch notes, so this is directly from the developers. The AI is more efficient at deciding what structures to build and when, according to the type of planet and the stage of progress of each colony. The AI is now much better at handling its finances, allowing races to shoot for a bigger empire and bigger armadas. And the AI can also terraform their own planets now, which apparently they couldn't do before, and use the space factory to build new ones out of gas giants and asteroid belts, which is really, really cool. The AI also is just better at placing its fleets and assessing the overall status of war. So big change in terms of strategic AI. Diplomatic AI has also gotten a big facelift. The most important change is the AI is now taking into account threat awareness. I'm still reading straight from the patch notes. For potential enemies and allies. Now it will be much easier to understand the AI's intentions, as they will sweeten a deal that they really want to make, and they will react in a more reasonable way if they are afraid. One of the things that the developers mentioned was really important to them was for the AI to play fair. And what they mean by that is the AI is not going to cheat. It's not that the AI is going to always do nice things to you and play fair. The AI is going to be smart, which is good. We want a game where the AI is intelligent and is difficult because it's making smart decisions, not because it's being given unfair advantages over the player. So this is an AI that's very much set up to play on a level playing field and give the player a real challenge, which I love, and you should be excited about if you are a strategy game fan, particularly a Master of Orion player already. The fact that they're going for a fair AI is not a bad thing, it is a good thing, and I've seen some players criticize that. I don't think there's a complete understanding of what the developers are going for there. So just be aware of how awesome it is that they're going for that approach to the artificial intelligence. Also, espionage got some changes. You guys haven't even seen espionage yet because the last time I played Master of Orion was Early Access 2, and it's now Early Access 4, so espionage got some changes from what was introduced in Early Access 3. Mainly, they added, well, they did a bunch of little things to tweak it and make it better, but the big addition was they added the ability to steal star charts. So you can actually steal the information that another player has on the galaxy from them, which is really, really cool, and one of the most useful things I think that you can do as far as not doing something aggressive, but you can spy. I mean, that's literally what you think of when you think of spy, is stealing someone's visual information and what they can see. So that's really huge that you can do that. Also, tactical battles. The size of the map has been increased. Again, quoting from the patch notes here, to add strategic depth and open up more chances to perform maneuvers. We rebalanced weapons and shields to increase the survivability of ships, and added range dissipation, shield piercing, and armor penetration, as well as overall performance changes to support even larger battles. So it sounds like some things that we encountered in the past, as far as, things skipping and the graphics getting a little weird on larger battles, might have been addressed. So let's cross our fingers for that. Ship design. One of the most important improvements is that we finally were able to unify the flow of auto upgrades with the ship design flow. This means that auto upgrading will now happen inside the ship design screen, providing better feedback and allowing for more opportunities for you to edit your designs in case you don't like what the auto upgrade has in mind. I've seen this in the game, and it's really cool because when auto upgrade happens, you can literally see, very similar to the way it is in Stellaris, you can see how things are changing in the ship's design as upgrades happen. It's not exactly the same as it is in Stellaris, but I think there's some similarity. Master of Orion might even have Stellaris beat a little bit in terms of the ship customization as it is right now. I think it's comparably good. And then finally, minor civilizations, which were also introduced in Early Access 3, have actually been removed again. They took them back out because they want to work on them a little bit more and make sure that the game is really ready for that kind of extra mechanic on top of the core mechanics of the game that we've already been discussing. So now let's get some backstory on the Khans.
After centuries of strife and misery, the age of the Khans began. It was a time of great struggle when dire circumstances called for radical solutions under ruthless and unwavering leadership. The price was dear, but through the iron rule of the Khans, mankind survived. Having pacified their home world of Alpha Ceti, the Terran Khanate now seeks to expand its territories to secure the rightful place of humans in the galaxy until the end of time.
Alright, so now that you've had an introduction to the Terran Khanate, I want to take just a second to go over the opponents I'll be facing and the settings for the game. We'll be playing against the humans, and the Meklar, and the Darlok, and the Bolrathi, and the Silicoid. I don't know why I put "and" between every single one of those. Could have just gone with commas. Would have been fine. But these two, of course, I have played in previous Let's Plays, so I wanted to make sure I included them. The Darlok and Silicoid are newer races. Darlok is very espionage-focused, so they'll provide a unique challenge. And the Silicoid is a silicon-based life form, so they will provide me with some interesting challenges as well, because they just have different behaviors and they work differently as a race. And I haven't really played protracted campaigns against either of these races since they were released. And then I wanted to include the Bolrathi simply because they're very aggressive and they're bullish, and I thought that would provide a nice counterbalance to how aggressive and bullish I want to be. I don't want to have just 5 pushover opponents, so I want to make sure I had at least one in there that was known for being warlike and aggressive. I will be playing on a spiral galaxy, large size, not huge, because I found that having huge galaxies, once you have conquered a ton of planets, there's just so much happening every single turn and it gets kind of repetitive. So I was concerned from a recording perspective that it would get a little too monotonous once we were towards the end of the series, and I didn't want that to happen. Plus, it would also take longer, and I like the average length that I've had so far with the Master of Orion series, so I'm just going to go with large. Galaxy age, we're going to go with young, because that will mean fewer inhabitable planets to start and more mineral-rich planets. Also, less risk of supernovas, which I don't necessarily worry about the risk of supernovas. I'm more interested in the fewer inhabitable planets part. I want to feel like it's special when we find a really nice planet. And I've found that playing on the young galaxy age, I don't think they've actually spelled out exactly what these things do, as far as what these settings for galaxy age do. But I've found from what I've read and from what I've played that it reduces the number of inhabitable planets. And I like that. I like the idea of making Earth-like planets more rare. We're going to keep it to post-warp start, which is what we've been doing all along. They've added pre-warp and advanced. Advanced just meaning you start with some additional colonies and ships. Pre-warp meaning you start before you've built any ships, before you've even left your homeworld. But I've found that that start is rather dull, and you end up just kind of waiting to get to where you start out with post-warp. So I'm going to just go with post-warp. We're going to play on hard difficulty. Again, they've upgraded the AI, so I'm not going to jump into very hard just to give myself a challenge here. I had a hard enough time at the beginning of the Age of Machines series. It was kind of kind of questionable for a minute there, so I'm going to go with hard, just to make sure that I can continue on a level playing field with what I've already done, and also cope with any increases in difficulty as a result of the smarter AI. And then finally, I'm going to go with normal research, production, and population growth speeds. It's so funny that they have these controls in here. I have just recently, a lot of you may have seen this, put out an open letter to Ed Beach, the lead designer on Civilization 6, basically asking him to have these settings in the game. Like, just let us tweak and have more than just 3 settings. Like, let us tweak how fast research goes, production speed, and population growth goes, because it just gives you so much fine control over how the game goes. In this case, this is not Civilization. It just reminded me. I really hope they do that. But small tangent. Check my Twitter if you are not... Oh, there goes my phone. Sorry. Check my Twitter if you are curious about that. But anyway, sorry. Tangent. We're going to go with normal research speeds on all of these things. And then last but not least, we're going to have just diplomatic victory. So that's the only thing we're going for. We're going to conquer the galaxy until we reach a point where we can enforce our will upon everyone else in it. So that's that. That's the game setup. This is going to be a wildcard series on my channel, a bonus series, if you will, so it doesn't fit into the normal time slots that I do. You can count on seeing new episodes daily at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. If you are new to my channel, I upload daily videos at noon and 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and I play games with grand narrative, the games that don't tell you a story, but will make you imagine one. Check out the channel introduction if you want to learn more. And if you decide to stick around, I would be thrilled if you subscribed. If you decide to subscribe, check out my channel and community miniseries to learn more about connecting in on YouTube, on Twitter, Reddit, Steam, and more. Thanks so much for stopping by. So let's get started. Comments are welcome all day and all night, as usual. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the first episode, which, if you've got it queued up, starts right now.